All right, y'all. Welcome back to another episode of Section 300, brought to you by Brett Winter Zinc. We want to shout out to them for supporting us. And the question today is simple. We're going to jump straight into it. The question today is we see a lot of debate going on with running backs holding out and all that's going on with them. The question I have for you, Alec, and we'll discuss in depth is, do running backs matter? We see how they're holding out. We see how they are demanding equal pay. Everybody's been talking about, let me see if I can pull this up. Jake had his freestyle recently, and in one of the lines, he talked about how the numbers are good with me if the ends with 0, 0, 0, 0, 0, whatever. Running backs, they're not getting that many zeros. They're getting maybe one or two, and they're saying that's enough. So they're trying to get that pay, and they're trying to get what they deserve. A lot of guys are holding up because of that. Josh Jacobs and others, Ezekiel Elliott. Oh, he's not even signed right now. He's trying to find a new home. But there are many guys who are, if they're top guys who are no longer being viewed as such. Saquon Barkley, most notably, that are demanding higher pay and aren't getting quite what they deserve. So again, yeah, just you, Alec, do running backs matter anymore, and do they deserve what they're asking for?
Yeah, real quick, I was gonna say no shade, but I don't know if I would group Ezekiel Elliott in that same.
No, I just think the names that mentioned that for sure. But I get you.
Yeah, no, but yeah, it's a tough question because absolutely, like having an elite player at that position is advantageous. It helps to open up your offense for sure. And some of these guys that are still haven't been signed are some of the best, like had some of the best seasons last year, including Jacobs and Saquon Barkley and Eckler more as a pass catching back. But without him, I mean, with all the injuries they get to wide receivers and everything on that Charger squad, like they would have gone nowhere without Eckler. So yeah, I think they are crucial pieces to a team. It's just become apparent over time that teams can also be successful without having to pay top dollar for the running back. So it's become less of a premium position. We've seen them be devalued as far as drafting them. Like teams aren't really looking to draft them high either,
right?
Unless they're like truly look like generational talents, like a Bijan Robinson,
right?
But yeah, I think because we've seen over the years, and we'll get into the actual breakdown. We've seen that teams have been successful with lower paid running backs. I think more organizations are moving away from wanting to invest long term in a position that also deals with a lot of injury concerns as well too. Yeah.
The running back window for their prime has become very slim. Once those wheels falls off for guys, it ends up going for the worst for them. So yeah, seeing how that plays out, we see people getting ahead of that now by most teams going into a running back by committee type offense where they just have a plethora of running backs they throw out there that can just fill the voids as needed. They have a pass catching running back. They have the blocking running back. They have all different types of running backs that fill different needs rather than having one guy having to do it all, which on one side should be helpful as it saves guys' legs. But for the guys that actually can step up and do at least 2 of the 3, or for some that they are top tier, can do 3 of the 3 of the things needed and be a crucial part of the offense at all times. It can be a diminishing of their value. And guys are right now that are having stepping up are feeling that way so far. So, I guess back to the main question. I do think running backs matter. I do think guys like Eckler, guys like Saquon, guys like Josh Jacobs and others who prove that they could be the main guy for years to come, or at least appear to be guys that could be running backs, the main guy for years to come, deserve the pay that they're asking for, and shouldn't be overlooked because we see other teams that operate in ways that are successful as well. So they do matter. I believe they should get paid accordingly.
Yeah, I think those 3 teams specifically, the Giants, the Raiders, and the Chargers, would be nothing without those individual players as far as their running backs.
Sure.
Saquon is very much the engine of that offense, while Daniel Jones made strides. Like, they would not have been as successful as they were without Saquon Barkley. Josh Jacobs had arguably the best running back season in terms of rushing yards last year. And as I touched on with Austin Eckler, like he's much more of a threat out of the backfield, catching the ball as well too. So if they didn't have him, Herbert wouldn't have a whole lot of options to throw the ball to. So, yeah, I think absolutely they matter. Like they can be the difference between wins and losses. It's become complicated, I guess, for organizations who are looking obviously to get the most bang for their buck when building a roster. And we've seen you can pull up the graphic too that over the past 14 years, the running back from the Super Bowl champion teams have made $2 million or less.
Yeah.
And it's been a continuous trend now every single year.
That's after 2021. 2022, I believe rusher was Isaiah Pacheco for the Chiefs, and he averaged around that same amount. I think it was around 9,000 himself. So so it's hard to say that we should pay a running back $10 million or whatever the case is when the guys that are producing to the degree that teams desire in regards to the team production of a Super Bowl aren't getting paid that high. So on that end, I get how it could be a dispute. But I think these guys have proven why they are valuable for the team that they are on. I think you have to let the guys kind of what they do with the Giants. The Giants, not in that. What am I trying to say? The Giants based their team around Saquon and then paid Daniel Jones. I guess my point was that Saquon was the core of that team and should remain the core of that team and should be valued for what he provides as the core of that team. Right. And then you build around that into a top tier team as the Giants you see are becoming. You don't become the top tier team and then take away the core with Saquon and think you're going to remain that without him. So we see, I guess, a better example may be Derrick Henry, who did get paid. Derrick Henry is the clear guy for Tennessee. He is the full engine of that squad and is getting paid as that guy, thankfully, because of the MVP type performances he continued to put on for years to come. So, I think there are examples on the flip side of this. Though those other teams have not won Super Bowls yet, I think there are examples of teams that want to be in contention who have built themselves around a good running back, where that running back deserves to be paid because of that contribution. So, we'll see if other teams follow suit. But for now, it seems unlikely, as we already mentioned, that guys are holding out and all of that. So, with that, what else you want to add to it?
Yeah, I mean, just with the current state of the situation, we got report today that Austin Eckler was gathering a few of the top running backs to discuss via Zoom call, like the current situation with NFL contracts and including the NFL Players Association in some capacity as well too. Right. So I'm not sure what those talks or negotiations are going to look like, but I see from the other vocal running backs like Derrick Henry, as you mentioned, that there is some concern with the position being undervalued or devalued in the league. And I believe Eckler, as one of those who is seeking to lock down a long-term deal and get paid what he's worth, is making an effort to rectify the situation, because we do see like a clear direction that it's going towards. Yeah. And it doesn't look good for the guys that are elite talents at the position.
Mm-hmm. So, maybe this is implied, but we often hear about meetings of players got together to discuss their contracts and all of that. I would love to know what, and maybe it's implied, but I would love to know what the agents are saying. Like, where are the agents getting together and saying about these things? Are they just like, whatever, we're just trying to get where we can get for these guys and we go from there? Are they actually fighting hard? Are they in these discussions as well, of course, adding to it and trying to show that they are making these pitches to these managers who they are the ones that are in contact with, trying to get the job done for them and improving their value. So, as we see in recent years, there's on the NBA side, there's guys like Rich Paul. And last year, he's not running back. Jalen Hurts' agent, I believe her name is. I don't want to get her name wrong, so my apologies. But other agents have become popular. I love to know if these agents are getting together with people and discussing things to help these guys out in a better way. I guess in a way it could benefit them as well. So that should be. I would love to hear how those conversations go too. But glad, back to your point, that running backs are getting together, trying to figure something out, because they do deserve more than they're getting treated. So yeah, excited to see how that pans out. And you said it's looking bad so far, but there's a chance that the tide could turn for them in a positive way. So we'll see.
Another aspect of it, just from a football standpoint, I guess, just thinking about it myself, from the talent in the game, like I feel like there is more of a disparity, I guess, between like really good quarterback and bad quarterback, as opposed to like with running backs. Like there is a difference in like a Derrick Henry versus a backup running back, obviously, but the disparity is not as large. If you understand what I'm saying, like
right.
There's definitely more of like a premium on a position like quarterback. I mean, it's the most important position probably.
To a fantasy angle, just to add to your side.
Yeah.
Well, it's a real thing, but I'll use fantasy because we play fantasy heavily and all of that. Mm-hmm. You see at times, as soon as Derrick Henry gets hurt, you sign the backup and you know the backup's going to eat the next game because the main guy's not there. Right. So while that is nice for the backup, I guess that shows the disparity at times may not be great. I guess the other part though is that we also see at the same time that if he made that running back that's the backup may pop for one game, but if that stretch goes on 2, 3, 4 games, once they start figuring out how he plays, he starts getting figured out and his play starts going down. So while the Derrick Henry may stay Derrick Henry for the whole season, there's one that may have Derrick Henry level for one game and then fall back down to reality. So I do think there's a disparity there, and that other running backs can show flashes, but the top guys who stay the top guys deserve to be paid as such. So yeah.
Absolutely. But yeah, I was just thinking about it because, like, I mean, arguably there's probably like maybe 20 good quarterbacks in the league. Like, there's probably 10 teams that have bad starting quarterbacks right now. Right. So like there's definitely more of a premium on that type of positions. That's why I can understand a guy like Daniel Jones getting paid before Saquon does. It's just like it's challenging when you see like what we talked about, like how dynamic of a player Saquon is and how that offense.
And then we've been watching Saquon for years fight with this team just to stay afloat. We've been seeing him playing with bad offensive lines and still making something out of nothing. We've seen him play his best before, come back from injuries and still do what he can. And when you have that guy as a leader of this team, not get paid as such, but you pay the next guy who came in after he already set the tone and get paid handsomely. Yeah, it definitely rubs guys the wrong way. So, it can be a bad look, and I get why these guys feel the way that they do. Mm-hmm. I guess to ask you, fancy side away on the real side, or for us at home as you guys see us, the Madden side. Do you go running back by committee, or do you have your main guy that you stick with if you were putting a team together?
I haven't played Madden in a minute, but
I would fancy wise. Do you go? There's the go. What's it called? Zero running back formula.
Oh, no, I'm not a zero running back.
Are you making sure you grab your top guys early?
Yeah, I'm not a zero running back guy because I feel like I've gotten burned a couple years where I had a really good team, but the running back position failed me like in the playoff time. Got it. I try to lock down at least like one elite running back in the earlier rounds for sure, if possible. But sometimes it's hard. I mean, well, we didn't mention yet Le'Veon Bell and his situation in 2018, but I mean, it's sometimes hard to go after the elite running back in the first round because it's a shot in the dark at times. Like you go for Christian McCaffrey and he ends up hurt for the entire season, or you go for Le'Veon Bell in 2018 and he sits out the entire year. So it's like
but I guess to add to our conversation, the writing was on the wall with him. He discussed holding out. He wanted to get paid, and the Steelers weren't budging on what they were going to offer him. At least enough to satisfy him. So he was looking around and he couldn't get what he wanted. So he held out. So the writing was on the wall there. For those that took the bait on that, trying to take a chance and see what would work out, it went the opposite way. But to the reality of it, while that did in a way work out for him, he went to the Jets and got paid. He was not the same guy once he showed up there. He was not the guy that they hoped he would be. And really that started at the end of his career. He went from there to a few other teams. I think he bounced around. He was on the Chiefs for a second, on the Ravens at one point at the very end. He was just all over the place, just trying to find his footing, and never did. So to the getting point that we made about running backs' primes being short, that's the other side that's hard with this. You have guys that are elite, and for a while, Le'Veon was top dog. His pace, the way he played the game was bar none. But once they figured him out, or once he wasn't able to find his way as he once did, yeah, the writing on the wall was clear. So yeah, that's what's hard with these guys as they want to demand their pay. It's like, yeah, we might already be at the end of your prime right now. We're not going to pay you for another 4 years. In those next 4 years, you might not even be top talent anymore. So yeah, guys got to get in and cash out early. I think that we saw recently the way to do it, I guess, still is through the draft. I think Bijan Robinson did get drafted because he got drafted. Top 5, I believe it was, got paid handsomely. But we'll see if that contract is echoed as he goes on, or if we can even match that level of play. So yeah, it's getting interesting. But yeah, folks are mad at Le'Veon because he kind of messed with the market by how he held out, came back, didn't do so well. And they're like, and then GMs responded like, okay, we're not paying these guys again like that because they go left quick. So yeah, we'll see how things go from there.
For sure.
But yeah, I think that's really it in regards to the conversation. To me, we talked about if they matter. We talked about all the angles with it. They're having their meetings and all of that. We hope for the best with them. We talked about young guys with John Robinson and others entering the league. Excited for all that's on the way. I guess I'll throw this in at the end. We talked about fantasy a couple times now. Who's your RB fantasy running back one? Who's your first pick at running back this upcoming year?
That's a good question. I haven't done any mock drafts or best ball drafts yet either. I haven't really looked at it seriously. I think 3 of the guys we just talked about are in that discussion. Like Saquon, Jacobs, and Derrick Henry are in the top 5 discussion. McCaffrey's in there too. He proved that he can play through a full season again.
A guy that we mentioned that we didn't mention that we might just speed by real quick, just to throw in this in for real quick. Okay. Dalvin Cook is having his own situations beyond the field too. Right. He's not on a team right now, but Matty, he was a high running back for the last few years when healthy. Madden wise, he's a top 5 running back, I believe, in ratings and all of that. But he's not getting paid, and he's not on a team literally. And there's other things that go into that. But yeah, he definitely was a guy for a few folks that would have been a top option.
Yeah. Man, it's a good question. I feel like there's a 5th guy that I'm blanking on that is I would also consider like in that top 5 right now.
You said McCaffrey, Jacobs, Henry, Saquon.
Yeah.
McCaffrey, Henry, Jacobs, Saquon.
I think there's a 5th obvious guy that I'm not thinking of. Who'd you say?
Pollard.
I mean, I guess Eckler would be like around 5 for fantasy purposes. He's near 1 or 2.
Right.
So I guess for fantasy, that's tough. Probably McCaffrey. Like I think it's like the best situation, the best like setup.
Especially
the coach, the offense, the roster.
Yeah, especially with all his quarterbacks hurt right now, he may have to be quarterback himself. So yeah, he's definitely gonna get a lot of run this year.
I think Brock Purdy's gonna be starting, correct?
They say he's aiming to, but they signed Sam Darnold. Trey Lance is still finding his way. But yeah, we saw him under center for a couple of times. McCaffrey under center in that last game. So
my bad. Yeah. Nick Chubb. Is
yeah, of course.
Yeah.
I tune him out sometimes because he's on the other side as a Raven fan. Browns, we only pay attention to them a little too much. But yeah, Nick Chubb definitely is a top guy there. So yeah, we'll see if he is drafted as such this year.
But yeah, McCaffrey's a triple threat at times, as you said, as he could throw it occasionally too.
Right.
The running and pass catching, he's elite, and he showed he was back last year. So he'd probably be right there at the top for me as far as running backs. I feel like I'd still be slightly nervous to draft him though, but
still nervous. Yeah. There are some guys that may bounce back as well as just young guys in general. I got hooked on Breece Hall last year, and then he got hurt over the season.
Tough injury.
ECN saved me that last year, helped me make a nice push as the year went on. As well as Bijan Robinson, we mentioned getting drafted this year, who'll be highly touted and heavily used in that Atlanta offense.
Jonathan Taylor had a down year.
He was supposed to be top dog last year and fell off completely, but he still is talented, and we'll see. So yeah, we'll see how that plays out. And yeah, just excited for all that's on the way with this, and hope that these guys are able to get what they need so they can be on the field and produce as we hope for fantasy purposes and beyond. So yeah, excited for all on the way. Close football season finally, and everybody's feeling the bug. It's been too long without football. Basketball, as we talked about, there's always something going on. There's summer league, there's Drew league, there's slam ball popping up. There's all kinds of stuff popping up. Basketball wise, keep you satisfied. NFL, once you get that dead period of football, it's like, bro, like what do we do? Like we got maybe Madden, I guess, but besides that, nothing was really going on. Even those other leagues, the XFL and all of that, and pretty early too. So you can't even really get your fix during the summer as you desire. So yeah, we're all itching for new football to get back, and we're now under 50 days too, I believe, and yeah, ready for this to get rolling. So start with a new season again. We'll look to all this on the way with these guys. Anything else with that, Alec?
I was just gonna say maybe hopefully for the benefit of the running back contracts, like you get a Super Bowl champion that has a running back making more than $2.5 million this year.
Right. Austin Eckler's getting paid, I believe, a little bit more than that, so he might be the guy. Who else is up there? I don't know. Saquon might be that guy. Those teams are
like McCaffrey.
Yeah. So it's possible. Yeah, they gotta reset the market in the positive and on the high side by getting the job done on the field to really change up how that goes. Because the narrative, as you pointed out, the last decade plus, it's been the other way. So yeah, excited for all of that and see how it plays out. But yeah, fun things on the way there. More things to discuss about the NFL as we get closer, as we get dive more into LA, talking about the Rams and Chargers specifically, seeing how the Chargers high hopes, well, the Rams low hopes maybe, then maybe flip sides and may want to just look at some other options as they may have be on the verge of rebuild. So good things to discuss there. NBA is always plenty to discuss with that. We'll get to that also, and we'll be in other things on as well on the way. And we decided to continue to bring you guys content. Thank y'all for tuning in as you always do. Like, rate, review, subscribe, comment, share, however you show love. We definitely appreciate it all. That's it for right now. We'll be back with more things for you soon. And yeah, just appreciate y'all for tuning in, man. Go check out Barbie and Oppenheimer this weekend if you can after you watch this. It definitely let us know what you think. And yeah, we'll be back soon, man. Appreciate y'all. Peace.
Deuces.